Think about the film clips that are on a Sunday these days. Shows women dancing in sexual ways in next to nothing. And some people think, well, who cares, But we need to stand up and have standards. When you go to a nightclub, and I've been there, the scene is exactly the same. The same music, and people imitating the style of dance that is on video hits, which is the style of music that goes with that music. Some of you are there practicing on Sunday mornings. Okay, some people think there's nothing wrong and it's their problem if someone finds the way I dance sexually stirring. It's their problem, it's not mine. We can't have that attitude because we live in a fallen world. We all have original sin. We can't have the attitude that it's everyone else's problem. Because with all our rights comes responsibilities. Remember that what does your body speak? A language. And in that fallen world which we live in, people are going to read the language of your body completely opposite to what you're feeling and doing. You might be feeling happy, you finished exams, whatever. That's good. Have a great time. Enjoy the fact you finished exams. But take into consideration, what is my language, the language of my body, telling other people? We must make changes in our life because we are responsible for our actions. Guys, remember, if you so much as look at a girl lustfully, you have committed adultery with her in your heart. That's what Jesus says. And girls, remember, if you act or dance in a way which provokes sin in another person, you are accountable for their sin also, and that goes both ways. So exactly how far can you go with your girlfriend? This is often the question that's asked. Many people are wondering, well, how far can I go? So many laws and rules and regulations, it's worse than the RTA. This darn Catholic Church. So many rules. But asking how far you can go, is this the attitude to have? Does this sound like the attitude of love and sacrifice that we've been talking about? How far can you go is the wrong question. We should be asking, how much can we do to preserve that person's purity? Just imagine that your future wife or your future bride is out there somewhere, and they are. You could be sitting next to them. Maybe. If you're lucky. Not you two boys. Even if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend now, they may not be your future wife or your future bride. You need to think about relationships with that attitude. And that if your future wife or husband is out there somewhere, and they are, how do you want them to be being treated? And that's how you treat the person you're with. Imagine your own daughter. She's out on her first date. You've changed some nappies, you've watched her grow up. She's got your blue eyes and, his little nose. He's so cute. She's out on a date with a guy. How far would you want your special, beautiful princess to be gone with? Kissing. This is a very contentious issue, but I'm very excited to talk about it. Very. Some challenges will be set, but listen with an openness of heart. Kissing is treated like a commodity these days. So many people have the attitude of who cares? No one's getting hurt. It's just a bit of kissing. The fact is that to have this attitude, it's not modest and it's not loving. Aside from the fact that it's, pretty unhygienic to kiss someone you don't even know, this is one of the most lustful things which is out of control these days, I think. It's usually on the dance floor of some pub or club. Boy uses girl for physical affection and girl uses boy for that emotional feeling of being wanted. Would you go to a shop and steal? I don't think any of you guys would. The reason is because your hearts are converted to that extent. You know that stealing is wrong. You don't have to be told, I shall not steal, when you walk into a shop and you walk out shaking because you just really wanted to steal something. Maybe there is people in here, I don't know. But Maybe some of the uni students who haven't got much money. The fact is that most of you, though, your hearts are converted and you wouldn't steal. You don't need that commandment any longer because your hearts are pure to that extent. It's the same with kissing, what we call randoms when you go out. This is completely void of the love of God, and I'm going to be blunt. When you do that, you are ripping off and you are stealing from your future spouse what is rightfully theirs. Okay, so kissing as a commodity is wrong. That's established. So then, what about kissing in loving relationships? Is it wrong? Is it sinful? How far can we go? Is that the question we should be asking? Always return to the definition of love, and that is to will the good of the other person. All finely tuned athletes will tell you that to get where they are, they had to sacrifice a lot. They had to say no to the soft drink, no to the birthday cake at their birthday. It's a bit sad. No to the McDonald's signs they drive past. They need to learn to master their desires. Just like this, we as Catholics need to learn to master our desires so that we can become good husbands and wives. Just as a sprinter or a swimmer has the desire to become a champion athlete, we need to have the attitude that we want to become a champion husband or wife one day. The only way we do that is that we give up the little pleasures in our life, make small sacrifices. At the time, they can seem like just something little, but they prepare you for marriage. All these little things coming together prepare your character. It's important to remember love is about sacrifice, but what happened after Jesus' sacrifice? There was a resurrection. It's not all about doom and gloom, don't do this. After you die to yourself, God's will shine through and you'll have a resurrection to a new understanding of what you're meant to be doing in this life. When you're in a relationship, kissing is not in itself wrong. The problem is knowing when to stop. There's a whole area of grey there, okay? It's also important to remember that it is a very different experience for men and women. For men, they will feel sexually aroused much quicker. I'm going to be open and blunt about it because that's the truth. Also, I've met people, they might have a 2-second kiss approach, put a time limit on it. I don't know who's watching the clock, but anyway. Okay, they have this approach, but over time, the boundaries will be, just kicked a little bit, 3 seconds, 5 seconds. Oh, was that 20? Lost track of time. Over time, our boundaries get smashed down. Before long, we end up in a place we don't want to be. I was on the way to visit a mate a few years ago. He lived in Corowa. Does anyone know where that is? Anyway, it was late at night. It was near Albury. It was on the river, so they get really thick fogs. And I was driving through the fog. It was dark. And I took a wrong turn. And then the rain started coming down. And I ended up in a place I didn't want to be. This is what happens with kissing. The rain starts coming down, that's the hormones. Start flowing in. Before long, we end up in a place we thought, geez, didn't think I'd end up here, but I'm here. Okay, and the problem is, once you've been that far, that is no longer foreign territory anymore. You've been that far, and so your sensitivity is decreased that little bit. So getting that far next time, it's not a problem. Okay, so it is a beautiful show of affection. And it's not sinful, providing we don't go a certain distance. But that's the grey area. Small kiss turns into a longer kiss. No one's watching the clock. The snowball effect. The problem with going a certain distance is that once you've been there, like I said, it's no longer foreign. Our barriers get broken down.